I have been doing a lot of knitting, but I can't do that because I need to think. I need to kind of hold it up to me. And can you imagine, like, in a Zoom meeting, if I were to just be like, let me see. Hey everyone, my name is Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 74 of the Love in Stitches podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020, and it is a busy day. I am actually in between meetings right now because I'm working from home, and it was the perfect time to sit down and record my podcast. I've had everything set up since yesterday. I'm really trying to work to set myself up for successful busy days so then I can relax towards the end of the night. We'll see if that can happen later on, but that does mean that I am on limited time to, if I want to finish the podcast before my meeting, of course I can always come back later if I get really chatty. And I do have a lot to talk about today, which I'm really excited about. I feel like everything is more crooked than usual, but I didn't want to mess around for too long trying to get everything straight because I wanted to get to recording. So let's just dive right in. We are on episode 74, right? I forgot to change that on here. Anyway, I have some finished objects this week. I have 2 finished socks. So I showed you my sock week socks that I was working on last week, and now I have 2 finished pairs. So the first are, I finished these socks. This is Molly Klein design. This is her sock week exclusive colorway. Let me see if I can find, I don't even know if I have that, so never mind. I don't think I have the label, but this is from Sweet Tea Yarns or Molly Klein Design. This is her color for Sock Week 2020, and it is so cute. So I just did medium length socks. These are for me. I did my 60 stitches from the toe up, fish lips kiss heel, 40 rounds for the leg and 15 for the cuff. All that information is on my Ravelry project page, and I just started putting specific project pages in the description box. I've always had my general project page where you can find all my projects, but now I'm trying to go in and link to the actual project. So if you're watching this podcast and it's been 6 months or 2 years, you can still easily find that specific project. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to be better. And then I also finished these socks. So I had, half of one of them done and the other one was finished. These are the other Sock Week socks. This is Malia Made It, and I think her colorway is called Shark on Vacation because we got all these tropical colors. This one I did from the cuff down. I only did 10 rounds for the cuff, and then I went through the whole stripe repeat for the leg, fish lips kiss heel, 65 rounds for the foot, and finished with the toe. So if you want to see more details on these socks in particular, you'll want to check out a couple videos. I've got my Sock Week survival guide and the Sock Week intro video, and I talk a lot more about these. So I think they turned out so great. I love both of them. So I cannot believe that I was able to finish 2 socks because I did one of each in 7 days. I've never ever done that before. As much as I love socks and knit socks all the time, that was a first for me. So it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I wasn't really working on other projects at the same time, and I had to be intentional. There was definitely times where I was I could just sit here, but you know what? I will knit on my socks, and I got them done, and it wasn't so bad. I didn't have to stay up late or do anything crazy. So pair of socks in a week, probably not going to do it often. I'm more of a 1 pair of socks a month kind of girl, but it did feel pretty good to see that I could get that done. I actually have another finished object. This I had finished last week, but I forgot to show it. I just completely forgot that I did it. I think last Tuesday, not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, I didn't have any projects really going, and so I decided to pull out some of the crochet tulle. So if you will go back with me all the way to January, or was it February? Maybe it was February. We were doing, January we were doing Make 30 for 30, which was a like just a make along to encourage each other to work 30 minutes a day for 30 days on a specific project. And I was doing that really well in January, and then in February I decided I would work on my crocheted scrubbies. I think I'm remembering this right. Anyway, I had so much of this tulle, and I can get 2.5 scrubbies out of that. And I use these to scrub dishes. Like, I don't use a sponge, I use this instead. And I had almost finished them all up except for a little bit. And so I still had that little bit in the bag. Now all I have are these 2 spools. And I think I did these 3 last 2 Tuesdays ago, and I just forgot to show them. So 3 more scrubbies. These are not my favorite colors, so I think I was just putting off making these ones because I'm really just not a red, orange, yellow person. But now they're done, and I'm gonna put them with my I have like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag under my sink of all of these. And if anybody ever wants one and they do like those colors, then I will just give those to them. And now I just have 2 more to finish up, and then I won't have any more tulle stored. Like, I had an entire drawer of a dresser full of that tulle, and I wanted to use it all up because they actually take up less space as scrubbies, plus I could give some away and use some. So that's been a really good project for me. So 2 finished objects, well, I guess 3 if you count the 2 socks this week. I have been working on some new projects, which is fun. I get to show you new things. The first is a crocheted yarn cozy. I haven't done too much. This was my original crocheted yarn cozy that I messed up and had to take out, so I decided to give it a try again. It still looks the same on the bottom, but you can see that I am doing a crocheted ribbing of sorts. It's crocheted post stitches, and I am still figuring out this pattern. This is something that I'm designing right now, trying to figure out some different styles that I can make to make this crocheted cozy pattern something that is very reasonable to purchase because you get lots out of it. So that's what I've been working on here for crochet. I've had to do several iterations. I always crochet hair into it, but I think it's looking pretty good. I might work on that here later tonight. I've been having a lot of fun crocheting lately because I haven't done a crocheted project in what feels like quite a while. And then I actually started another crocheted project. This one is in a much bigger bag. Let me get the plastic out of here. So I have decided to start the Incendiary tank by Stephanie Aaron. You probably have seen it. It's the crocheted tank top with the option for the ruffle. It's super cute. I think it's like a V in the front and the back. I'm like rolling over. What is happening? Okay. I think I said I was gonna start it last week, and I did. But I am making some changes to it because the way that it's written for me is a little too revealing. Like, I like to wear loose clothing, a little more modest, and it's just a little too low in the front and then also on the side for me. So I am trying to just adapt it just a little bit to make it mine, basically. So I learned a new stitch, which was really fun. And then I did my swatching during like some meetings, I think last Friday. So I actually ended up doing 3 swatches. Turns out I am a very loose crocheter. And I had to go down a couple hook sizes to get even close to gauge. I still didn't get gauge. I did block these pieces. So I don't know if that's a blocked gauge or not. In her pattern, I should have looked. But I did not get gauge. I got a little bigger than gauge, so I just changed I just picked the pattern, or the size, picked the size that made the most sense for me. And then now, 3 swatches, I have made about 3 of these, and only 1 is like good. So these are like the little pieces that go on the front. You make 4 of them, and I am trying to figure out the right rate of increasing to still get the right stitch count and all of that so that I can make it basically not as deep, a little more shallow, so that it's a little more modest for me. So it's been kind of fun, but it's not something that I can just pick up and work on. Like I said, during a meeting, I have been doing a lot of meeting knitting, but I can't do that because I need to think. I need to kind of hold it up to me. And can you imagine in a Zoom meeting if I were to just be Let me see. Probably not gonna be good. So I think, is this the one that yeah, this is the one attached to the ball. So this is the one that I've gotten the bar this on, and I won't really know if it's good until I get everything attached, but this is one that I goofed up on. So I might end up taking that out and using that yarn later. Who knows? I'm just kind of having fun playing with it. It moves really, really fast. I've probably done another 2 of these and ripped them out, but it'll be worth it to have something that fits. This yarn is already something that I ripped out. You can see that it's curly because I didn't listen to my own conscience going, no, it's not working, it's too big. So I just need to take my time. I've learned when it comes to garments, and as soon as it doesn't feel right, stop and probably take it out. So I'm excited to crochet this. It's fun getting into crocheted garments because they are a lot faster than knitted garments. And I think that with like current designers, they're making them so modern and pretty, and it's been a lot of fun. The last thing I have done is cast on a sock. So this is actually a second sock because before Shark Week began, not Shark Week. Before my sock week yarn arrived, I had been knitting on some different socks, and then when the sock week yarn got here, I needed to, make up samples and then do a video, and so that's been my sock knitting for the last few weeks. But in May, I made this sock. This is Mustache Yarn's Jelly Belly with a random mini for the gray heel, and so I decided it was time to cast on the second one. This is not something that I normally do. I normally don't have multiple pairs of socks on the go, so it feels really good to finish up those 2, and then now I'm going to work on finishing this one, and I have one more pair of socks that only has a single sock in it, and I'm going to finish that one up too, hopefully by the end of August, because I do plan on casting on more socks this weekend because sock week is on Sunday. Anyway, I'm addicted to socks. They're just so good to knit right now when I'm just busy and they're simple. So I cast this on yesterday actually, and I've already done a fair amount. I got the toe going and I've gotten a good way up the foot, nearly a third of the way up the foot, I think. So I'm going to move my progress keeper over. This is actually from Molly, of Molly Klein Design, I think. So cute. It has like actual glitter in it, so you can shake it up, confetti. It's really cute. So these socks are a lot of fun. These are also for me. I don't think I've made socks for anyone else this year. I need to fix that. I am planning to make socks for my sister for sock week, I think. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something different. Who knows? I'm just kind of going with the flow here and seeing what is fun. I have, since this is mustache yarn, it comes in 2 50-gram skeins, so I have it in my mini yarn cozy, and it's holding on to it so well. Even though this has sat for 2 months, it's still all good to go and ready for me. So I love it when things work out like that. I really truly thought that I was going to talk for so much longer this week because I have so many more projects to talk about. I don't know what's making me so concise lately, but it is super, super strange. You guys know that I love to chat and I can go on and on about knitting, so it's pretty rare. Well, not lately, but I feel like I used to be somebody who always had like an hour-long podcast or a 45-minute podcast, and now I'm getting shorter and shorter. Some of you have said you actually like that because it fits into your lunch break. So I guess a balance is really good. But I do have some questions here in the Ravelry group, so I'm gonna go ahead and start answering those. All right, this one is from the Pink Stitch 26, and she says, I have been looking to start a blog. I was wondering if you have any tips. Thank you. Okay, I am not the right person to ask about a blog because I have a blog, but I do not write on it very often. When I first started out, it was before I had my podcast. I wrote on my blog. I think I did it every Friday, definitely once a week, and I had a format. I wrote about the same types of things every week, but it was different every week. So I went through my whips and I went through my finished objects, and I even did some lifestyle stuff, like I talked about what I had cooked that week. And so all week leading up to it, I would prepare by taking pictures, and then I would spend usually like Wednesday and Thursday drafting it up and then like finalize it on Friday and post it. And it was a lot of work. Blogging is a lot of work. Getting everything formatted right and everything. The host that I use I use WordPress, and I believe my website is hosted through them, like my domain name. But I would say set aside a lot of time to figure out how to do all the formatting and everything, because it is a learning curve. And then if you do WordPress, and I'm sure this is the same with other sites, they have like help that you can take advantage of. Some of it you have to pay for. Like I did I think it was $50 for an hour long, or 45-minute long Zoom session where I just got to ask questions and they helped me and I got my blog set up, and that was really, really helpful. So if you have some money to set aside to do that, it's worth investing in yourself and your blog, I think. But yeah, I'm not the best for like being consistent on the blog, but my tip would be to be consistent and pick your content and post. Also, I've seen a lot of people have success kind of collaborating with other people that have similar blogs, like doing a blog hop where you might go from this person's blog one day, the next day to the other person's blog, and like you get a free pattern, or you have a similar theme. I think that's really successful. So definitely look out for people that you see have a successful blog and you want to be like, and start kind of emulating them and making it your own, and you're going to do great. The next question is from E.M. Stone, and she says, do you have any suggestions on a shorty sock pattern for self-striping yarn for the cow? Okay, so I went on to Ravelry and I looked up shorty socks, because I just have like my go-to vanilla sock that I typically do, and for shorty socks I will do something like 5 rounds for the cuff, 10 rounds for the leg, and then go into the fish lips kiss heel. That makes them pretty short. But if you're looking for a pattern, the first few things I saw were these that kind of caught my eye were the Day Off Socks by Jessica Gore, and they are a free pattern. And I'm going to turn it around and show it to you. And I do have Ravelry on the classic version. So these are the Day Off Socks. I just thought that they looked really nice and simple, which for self-striping, that's what you're going to need, is something without a pattern. And they look like they have a heel flap and gusset from the toe up, which I've never done before. So that might be a fun thing to try. It looks like she doesn't have any leg. It just goes straight from the heel flap to a cuff. So I don't know, those look pretty great actually. Adult heel flap in the round one piece seamless short rows. So that would be really cool to try a heel flap without the actual flap. I think that would be really neat. And then the other pattern that I saw was called the Shorty Sock Set by Summer Lee. This is a paid for pattern. It is $6 US, and there are 3 different patterns in here. So they're all shorty socks. I think there's the one with the ruffles, which you can see the yellow at the top. There's the one with the pom-pom, which has a ribbed gusset, I think is what she said. It's like ribbed around the arch. And then I think just a regular shorty sock. So that looked like a good pattern. I think those are from the cuff down, and I'm looking, I don't remember. I think they're from the cuff down, and they have a heel flap and gusset. So it depends on your heel preference, but those 2 looked like really good options. They were kind of at the top, ranked shorty sock patterns. So I feel like those are going to be really good. And I know some people suggested in the group the Rose City Rollers, the most popular shorty sock pattern on Ravelry. And I think somebody suggested another pattern. Go in there and look if you're also looking for shorty sock patterns. All right, last question here is from Anne-Marie Matheson, and she says, "Hey Natalie, I have recently seen some knitted socks on Instagram that have no heel. They are basic tubes and look quite cool. Have you ever tried them? And if so, what are your thoughts on them?" So no, I have never tried a tube sock before. I have knitted a tube sock before, but they were a gift. And they were also in DK weight yarn. So I don't know. I never really asked the recipient like how they felt about them. This was a really long time ago, probably 13 years ago, maybe not 13, maybe like 10 years ago. And so I was a lot younger, and I feel like even if the recipient didn't like them, they wouldn't have told me because I was a lot younger. But I've never tried them before. I've heard of them being really great for growing children, because then they won't grow out of their socks for a little while. It'll just be like a taller sock, and then it will be, get shorter and shorter as their foot gets bigger. But it isn't like where you put in the heel and then they can't wear it at all. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you ever tried the tube socks before for yourself or for other adults? And did you like them? So let us know. Let Anne-Marie know. Either you can let her know in the Ravelry group or down here in the comments on YouTube, because I'm curious about that too. So I would love to hear your opinions. And then she had another question. How are you finding your new, very busy routine? Don't forget to take time out to rest. Thank you so much for saying that. This is really the first week that I'm getting into my new routine. And I don't know. I am not really feeling like caught up. Like, I'm not really feeling like I'm totally nailing it, but it doesn't feel terrible either. I am just now getting to the point where I am hitting my goal wake up time, which is 5 a.m. And that's just to allow me to get up and do work, like YouTube work, before I have work. One of my things that I really want to do is be 100% present, like in the moment. So when I'm doing my podcast, I want to be into my podcast. When I'm working, I want to be working. When I am spending time with Kent, I want to be spending time with Kent. It's just figuring out like where all those pieces fit, and this is really my first week doing that. So it doesn't feel amazing yet, but I do feel like I'm doing okay. Today, honestly, I feel like I am getting a lot done. I got up this morning and like knocked out my video, got my stuff up on social media, did some editing work, and then I had to go into the school building, did that, came back home, got on a YouTube premiere for Sock Week, got into another meeting, and then now I'm doing this, and then I have another meeting, and then I will be editing, and then I'll do, anyway. So I feel like I'm doing okay. It's just like, I have to be so careful because I'm really good at scheduling myself, but then I'm really bad at being flexible. And if anything happens to change my schedule, I've made it so tight that there's not really room to like flex. Right now, nothing really going on, so it's not a huge deal, but yeah, I definitely need to build more space into my day. But I also always think that this hustle is temporary and it's helping me achieve a greater goal of being able to work for myself from home. So it will be worth it. So I am looking in the Sock Week chatter thread. Go on in there if you want to chat about Sock Week. Tell us what you're making. That's where you can just chat for fun. But I did see some questions in there that I can't necessarily answer, but maybe you guys can help. So the first one is from Sarah, who is SEO doc, and she says, I need some advice. I'm planning to use last year's self-striping colorway by Malia. I was thinking I would do toe up so I can knit the leg short if needed, if I'm running out of time. But then Natalie mentioned on this week's podcast that she likes to do cuff down for striping. I'm guessing to make sure you start the heel after a stripe. So now I'm torn. Do I get my stripes perfect and risk not finishing, or maybe having to split a stripe for my heel but being less stressed about finishing? Thank you in advance for your help. Okay, so what would you do if you were Sarah? Would you start toe up and maybe have to like split the stripe when you put the heel in, but know that you can definitely finish on time because whatever point you get to in the leg, you can just bind off? Or do you start from the cuff down and make your stripes nice and tidy, but worry about not getting to finish? So I will tell you why I find it better to do stripes from the cuff down, and then I'll also tell you that I do them from the toe up on occasion because I forget and it's okay. So I like to do self-striping socks from the cuff down for exactly the reason that Sarah said. You can put the heel in whenever you want. If you want to put it in the middle of a stripe, you can do that. I like to put them between stripes, so I can just knit on my cuff till it's close to where I want it to be, and then I can, like, literally wherever in the round, you can insert that heel. So you can stop in the middle of the round, rearrange your stitches, because you can stop in the middle of a round because you're at the end of a color, rearrange your stitches, and then pop your heel into there, and it's not going to make one bit of difference. But you can't do that in the foot, because if you've done it traditionally where you've started at the toe and knit up, like, there are a certain number of rounds or inches that you need to do, and stretching it to reach the end of the stripe might make it too big, or holding it back might make it too small. And so you just don't want to, you can't really do that. You don't have as much flexibility. But you did just see me knitting self-striping yarn from the toe up, self-striping socks. And I did this because I kind of forgot that rule, and I got really, really lucky, and I just happened to hit my 65 round mark at the end of a stripe. Like, so lucky. I really don't even know how that happened. I also don't love that I started these socks like this. Just a side note, it's kind of strange because mustache yarn does come in matching skeins, and they were exactly matching, but I don't know why this little bit of purple was left when we could have just started here. So I wish I had done that, but you know what? It's okay. At least they match. But yeah, I'm doing it from the toe up, and you know what? I just got lucky and it worked out. I've also done it from, done self-striping socks from the toe up before and fudged it. Like, you can cut out a stripe, you can split a stripe in the middle, which actually looks just fine if you split it in the middle. If it's gonna be super uneven, I don't know. If your stripes are regular, like even length, like Malia's, which are usually 5 to 6 rounds, you could either split it in the middle or knit like 3 extra rounds or 3 fewer rounds. I think you'll be okay. I really do think you'll be okay, because a few extra rounds is not going to make a huge difference, or if you are in the middle of a stripe, you could just put it in the middle of the stripe. So I really think you'll be okay with toe up socks. So that's what I would vote for, is do your toe up socks. Do your toe up socks and risk the stripe, and you can always split it or do a couple extra rounds, because it's not going to make a huge difference. It's like those other socks, if I had to knit like 20 extra rounds, obviously that would make socks that were way too big. Actually, Sarah had a second question that I definitely can't answer. She said, does anyone have experience adding a mini gusset to your Fish Lips Kiss heel? I'm thinking of trying it because I have a high arch. So if you have any expertise on that, if you will go and contact Sarah via Ravelry, I know she would appreciate that so much. Let me see. People might have answered already. I need to catch up on this thread. Okay, awesome. I didn't see any more questions. So if you guys do have questions about socks during the week, I will do my best to try to answer them. Sometimes Ravelry is like the last place that I get to, and I apologize for that, but Instagram, email, all of those are really good places to contact me. And just a reminder, I do have tutorials for just like a basic vanilla sock. So I have an entire series for both cuff down and toe up socks, so you might even find the answer in those. Not saying that you can't ask me, just that sometimes a visual is better than me trying to like type it out to you, because that's a little hard to do. So there are those resources for you that are absolutely free. They're here on YouTube that you can go and get some sock help if needed. Okay, so let's talk about news. This week I had a new video, the Sock Week Survival Guide, and it was a premiere, which means that the video played for the first time live, and anyone who came in during that first like viewing of it got to watch it together, and we had a live chat on the side, and I was there chatting with you guys. It was so much fun. I'm always just blown away by everyone who comes and participates and is so supportive and so kind and likes watching my videos for that long. You guys are amazing. So that was a lot of fun, but now the video is just up as a regular video on my channel, so you can go check it out. It's kind of half vlog, half sock tips. So I chronicle my whole week knitting those 2 socks that I showed you in the beginning, one from the cuff down and one from the toe up, and I give you all kinds of little suggestions along the way of how I broke it down to do sock week. So it's a fun video, go check it out. It's podcast link, so it's a little long, but it's a lot of fun to watch. And then sock week itself, sock week 2020, is finally beginning on Sunday, August 9th. So this again is a make along. You can knit or crochet a sock or more than one if you want. And it runs from August 9th to August 16th, just 8 days. It's a challenge. Try to make one sock. If you do make additional socks, then you can have multiple entries. The way you're going to enter to win is on Ravelry. There's a finished sock thread. It's not open yet, but you can put your finished socks there. And then you can also enter to win on Instagram by posting in your feed and using the hashtag SockWeek2020. So the prizes are very similar. I do need to post pictures of those prize packs, but they're both going to include yarn, bag, progress keepers from Sock Week. So you can enter in both places, or if you're not a user of one or the other, make sure you're entering in the other place. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I'm really excited. And if you are like, wait a second, this is my first time here, what's Sock Week? Make sure you go watch the introduction video and now the survival guide so you can see what all the fun is about. You don't have to use these yarns, although if you did get them, you have the fun exclusive yarns. I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't believe you can still order them. I haven't checked in a minute. It is possible that you might, that Molly or Malia still have yarn, and I think that Tia, who did the progress keepers, which are so cute, I have mine right here. I actually have my bag ready for Sock Week because I'm going to be casting on with you guys. I have my, that's what I should show you. I've got my leftover yarns in here. I still have 50 grams of both. So I am like ready to go. But Tia, I believe, still does have some progress keepers. These are not the only ones. These are just the ones that I pulled out for my socks. So grab some. They won't be there until Sunday, I'm pretty sure, because that's going to be like real fast. But you can have them if you really like them. And like some people said, they're using last year's color this year, and that's totally fine. You can use whatever yarn that you want. But starting Sunday, and then I will have a live on Instagram. I am thinking Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 10th. Is that what that says? No, that is not the 10th. The 12th, maybe? I think that that's the day. Around 5 p.m. Central Time, but I will solidify the date and time via Instagram, so make sure you're looking over there at Knitty Natty. I just want to do like a mid sock week chat, knit on your socks, how's it going, answer questions, all of that. So that will be a lot of fun. All right, so life. We are back into the swing of things. This is my first full week back to work. I actually have had to go physically into work yesterday and today, which I did not realize I was going to be doing. It kind of took me by surprise, to be honest, because we're doing virtual learning until September 8th. And so I thought, yeah, I have all of August to like eventually go in and set up my classroom. And then I am a reading interventionist, and so I'm not a classroom teacher. So my prep work at the beginning of the year does not look like a teacher's. The teachers have a lot to do. And so a lot of times myself and other people on our team, we have to do all those extra things like getting Chromebooks passed out to parents and putting together supply bags. So that's what I've been doing the past couple of days, and it hasn't been as bad as I thought. I was worried. I mean, I'm still worried about going into work and being around people, just because I haven't for so long. But you know what? It's okay, and I'm there to do a job, and I am gonna do a good one. But yeah, it's been nice to see people, but also very nerve-wracking. One thing that I did this week is, it was a goal I had to do meal prep on Sunday. So I did meal prep, which means, what meal prep means for me is I made the lunches and dinners that we would need for the entire week. I didn't like put them in containers like I would if I were going to work. Like I don't have to be at work through lunchtime right now, which is good. I get to come back home and finish my work day in the afternoon on the computer, which is why I'm here right now. But when I found out on Sunday night at like 7 p.m. that I would be going into work the next day, physically into the building, I was thinking, thank goodness I spent all that time on Sunday meal prepping for the week, because I didn't have to worry about like getting home and then cooking dinner, and it's honestly just been so nice. So that is something that has been really great, and I want to continue to do because all that prep really pays off throughout the week. Now, bringing me joy, honestly, this week is my new projects. I am having a lot of fun crocheting. I always miss crochet when I don't crochet for a little bit. And the incendiary tank is really fun. I always find it fascinating to crochet garments because it's just such a new thing for me. So I am having a lot of fun with that. Well, I think that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week with another fun video on Tuesday. And hopefully I will see you on the live Instagram Live on Wednesday, and another podcast next week.